Hello and welcome, dear listener, to Rooster High Radio. My name is Zach Armstrong. I'm the founder at Rooster High Productions, and Rooster High Radio is the podcast arm of what I do, so I can get this kind of content out to you all in professional service businesses to talk about how to leverage your content marketing processes the best you can, especially with regards to podcasts. So today we are going to talk about how to maximize your time spent on content marketing so that you can spend the minimum viable amount of time making your highest quality content marketing. Because there is so much junk out there on the internet today, and guess what? You're an expert in your space, right? Especially if you're in a profession with a certification, or you're in a profession where you've been doing it for a long number of years. That's going to already make you different than a lot of the people putting out just junk advice onto social media. How can you do content marketing to provide that value that shows people who you are, why they should work with you, in a way that doesn't take all of your time? You're doing it efficiently, but you're still getting the best possible stuff. That is what we're talking about today here on Rooster High Radio. We're going to walk you all the way through that. So what it's going to look like is that you're going to pick a medium, right? Pick a medium that you want to create in. You're going to create in accordance with your messaging, and you're going to do it in batches. Then once it's complete, you're going to chop it up into a bunch of shareable pieces in whatever way fits with your workflows and your brand and your social media presence. And then as time goes on, you're going to recycle your best stuff. You're going to recycle your best stuff. Your first step out of that process is you're going to pick a medium. Where do you create the easiest? What comes to you most easily? Do you like to write? Do you love to write blogs? Do you like to talk? Are you comfortable talking into a camera and or a microphone? So you're going to pick your medium, a podcast with video, audio only podcast, or blog posts. You're going to pick your medium, and then you're going to generate your topics. There's a lot of really good ideas of how to do this all across social media. Some of the more helpful content creators who share this kind of knowledge often post these kinds of things to content creator focused reels or videos. One process I really like is that you take your overall expertise and then you write down, let's say, the 10 commandments of your profession. The definitely do these, definitely don't do these, that kind of structure all your best practices. Right? What are frequently asked questions that you hear about all the time? What are questions that people should be asking if they knew what you knew? A great, easy to kind of cheat out tool for frequently asked questions is looking on places like Google. With Google Autocomplete, people also asked, right? Especially questions people would ask if they're your ideal client, right? Now think about the kind of situation they're going to be in and what kind of questions do they want answered. And don't be afraid if a lot of these topics start to overlap, right, or look a little bit similar. That's okay, because repetition is important. If you end up saying a similar thing across several different topics, across a few different pieces of content, that is totally fine. All that's going to do, that's not going to annoy anybody. All that's going to do is reinforce that point into people's heads and associate you even more deeply with it. I've received that myself from a number of content creators who hammer the same points home over and over again, and I'm just encouraged by it. Even though I hear it most times I see their content, right? I'm not annoyed at all. I'm actually encouraged because I keep hearing it and I keep getting to internalize it. So you've picked your medium. Maybe you're comfortable on camera. Maybe you're just hooking up a microphone. Maybe you're writing some blog posts. You've picked a medium. And now you're gonna generate your topic so that you have a whole bunch to last you at least, let's say, 6 months, maybe even a full year. And let's say about one topic per week is what you want. Now what you're going to do, and this is one of the most important parts of having a good, efficient process, is that you're going to create with two principles in mind. One, you're going to create in batches. You're going to sit down and let's say you're doing blogs once a month. You're going to sit down and you're going to write 4 to 5 blogs all in one sitting. If you're doing a podcast, you're going to record 4 to 5 episodes all in one sitting. Now, feel free to, get some outlines, find some planning tools. Personally, I use a one-page worksheet that we also use with our clients to generate an outline of what an episode is going to be about. And I generate that outline, and then when I sit down to record an episode, I just go through that outline and structure it in a way that makes it easy for me to talk through a topic. So you're sitting down, you're recording in a batch, and make sure you're creating in accordance with your messaging. Now, we've talked on the podcast before about the fact that you are your greatest marketing asset because you are going to be the biggest differentiator. Now, of course, you might have other differentiators beyond just your bubbling personality or your extreme precision in your particular expertise, right? Or your amazing value offering or the processes you developed, right? Your business likely has other differentiators that really make you different. So look at your list of what makes you different. Hopefully you've written that down or gone through a more formal process to develop those. And you're going to make sure to say, okay, what makes me different? Who am I and how can I be sure to be showing my value specifically, not just my personality, but my value, my company's advantages specifically in this content, right? Very important to do so that you're always hammering home who you are, what you're about, and what makes you different. Why is it worth paying attention to you? What makes you different in your market? Why should I pick you over somebody else? Have those present in everything you do so that people are always getting that question answered. Why should I pick you? So now you've sat down, you've batched your content, it is done with your messaging in mind, and you're feeling great. You just generated an entire month of content, posting once per week in podcast form and blog post form. Fantastic. Congratulations. Round of applause. Woo! Woo! Excellent. So now what you're going to do is you are going to look at that content and go through it and find up to 6 shareable moments. You're going to look through it and you're going to start to chop it up and find 6 shareable moments. Maybe they're quotes from your blog post that stand pretty well on their own, are intriguing. They showcase your knowledge or they talk about who you are, right? They talk about a problem that your ideal client needs solved for them. With a podcast, you're going to find clips, especially a video podcast. You're going to find clips. You're going to find all the best clips that either solve a problem, showcase your personality in a great way, are intriguing. Maybe they share an opinion of yours that in your industry might be a little bit of a hot take, right? That can generate some attention appropriately. So you're going to find up to 6 clips that are going to work well on their own to draw attention to something good about your business, and all of them will help your audience get to know you, right? Like we talked about in episode 1 of the podcast, it is all about the work, the starter work of parasocial relationships getting started while you sleep. You've made the content, it's out there, now people get to know you, right? This really is the point of being on social media. There's a whole lot of other ways to do that, but if you want to do it really efficiently, this is a great option. So now you've gone through your content and you've found your 6 shareable moments, funny or how-to or a spicy hot take, right? And now what you're going to do is you're going to post those 6 moments every day of the week. And the other day of the week is, of course, when that main content goes up, the new podcast episode, then followed by 6 clips all over social media, wherever you have your presence, with a blog or quotes, and maybe you're just pulling quotes from the podcast or quotes from the blog. Get little quote graphics, right? In your brand, design a 1-by-1 for Instagram posts. Those are also work fairly well on Twitter, where you put up a short quote that showcases these kinds of things, right? Blogs can also come from podcasts. It's not terribly hard to go grab from the transcript and then whittle everything down to a good blog so that you can have this posted in a couple different ways. And once you've chopped it all up, now this means that you're getting fresh content that is completely on brand, that is telling people who you are, why you're different, why it's worth it to work with you, and who you are specifically. That's happening 7 days a week. You've got your main content, and then you've got your shareable, your 6 pieces of shareable content. And that's going all week. That is going all week long. This might be something you can do in-house. This might be something you hire for. Now, here's one of the last parts of the secret sauce. If you're taking social media seriously, you're looking at stats and stats over time, stats during different seasons, different kinds of content, right? You've tried different things. And so what you do is after you've gone through this process for a number of months, you go and you look back at what was the best performing stuff and just start to repost it. Repost those clips that did really well. Do they need to be shortened just a little bit maybe to end right after the payoff so that perhaps they perform a little bit better? Whatever performed the best, whatever was getting the most engagement, go ahead and repost it. Some people get scared of reposting their content because they don't want to overburden their audience. And in marketing, of course, overall, there is such a thing as audience fatigue. You worry about that a lot with email, right? As we all get too many emails all the time, and I'm constantly unsubscribing. Even as a marketer myself, I'm quite aggressive with it, right? But on social media, especially when it's personal and you're showing your face, you're showing you or your people's faces because you all are a major part of the brand in a professional service business, take your best stuff that performed the best and repost it. I have a few in-house shows here at Rooster High Productions, and I started up some auto posting for some of the blog posts I have on this podcast's website. And I have a few friends through the community around this podcast who are dear friends I've known online for years now, who always like and retweet my stuff. And one of my most dedicated followers only found one of my blog posts or only interacted with it after it posted for the fifth or sixth time, as it posted once a week. This person, dedicated follower, interacts with my stuff all the time, one of my biggest cheerleaders, only liked and reposted and interacted with a post once it had been posted for the fifth time. So reposting your stuff, do not be afraid to repost it. People are going to be remembering you and enjoying that much more than anybody's going to be annoyed. Funnily enough, I guess a case study for this kind of a process is you're looking at it. When I record these episodes, I then go and I chop them up into clips and then I post them all across my social media. If you're seeing this on a Rooster High account, it started as a video podcast that I recorded in batches and chopped up into at least six clips to spread all throughout the week. And guess what? You get to see my face. You get to see how I talk. This is the Zach you get when you call in for a discovery meeting to talk about how a podcast can serve your content marketing needs and how I can get that all done for you. Right? Now, these are processes that I've walked through that you might be able to do in your own business. You might have the right structure, the right team members where you could pull this kind of thing off yourself. And that's great. I want you to, because if you can do it yourself, you don't need me. But there are going to be people who need me and need these services, right? And I want to get out there. And I want you, when you walk into a meeting, or if you've heard of Rooster High Productions, a friend of yours just started working with me and they're like, oh yeah, I'm working with Zach. He's at Rooster High Productions. And they send you my social media. I want you to be able to see Zach. You get to see Zach. You get to hear Zach. You get to hear how I think and talk. And I get to talk about my experiences developing processes in marketing. And a lot of it started in restaurants, right? Developing processes in marketing to help everything get done, at the right time, on goal, on brand, right? And I've developed my own skills over many years. I trained on audio engineering in college as a part of a theater degree, believe it or not. And so I decided to take my project management skills and my technical skills, my artistry skills, along with strategic thinking applied to your content marketing. And now I'm out here doing this. And that's why I want to put my face out here so that you can meet me. And when we have a meeting, it's not the first time you've heard from me. Maybe it's the first time I've heard from you, but it's not the first you're hearing of Zach Armstrong at Rooster High Productions and how much he cares about getting something done really well for you. So remember, pick your medium that you're going to do well in. Make sure to do it in batches. Knock out everything for a month or more if you want to. Make sure it is on brand. It is on messaging. How does your company talk about itself? How do you talk about yourself? Showcasing how you're different, how you're valuable to your kind of ideal client, right? Then you take that, get 6 shareable bits from it, whether that's clips or quotes on 1x1 cards for social. You chop it up into 6 shareables per episode or per blog post, and then you've got new, fresh content every day, and you or a team member is looking over everything that you've been putting up, and you're reposting your best stuff so that it can have a second life, maybe do even better the second time, and everybody is hearing consistently who you are, what you're about, and getting prepped and having that relationship work done while you work. This has been Rooster High Radio. If you like this kind of content and you want to hear more of these kind of tips, if this kind of knowledge and these kind of processes really excite you and you want to learn more about how we're doing this in the podcast space and with content marketing, go ahead and give this show a follow so that more of these kinds of tips are going to show up exactly wherever you are. Our website is roosterhigh.com. We have blog posts and ways to get in touch with me, Zach Armstrong, at Rooster High Productions over on the website. And you can email me at zach@roosterhigh.com. Check out our social media accounts to see more clips like this all over the place. You can see this process in motion in real time over on the social accounts. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.